Okay, A.E. Guaaker is with us. The Village Phantom is the winning screenplay. We talked before. This is a crime mystery film about a journalist kind of going into this town. We kind of see the whole world from her point of view. So as we're discovering the mystery, so is the journalist itself, right? So really interesting
That is
screenplay.
correct.
Obviously very
Oh, thank
timely.
you.
People like these kind of screenplays. It's about the drug trade. What kind of motivated you to write this?
Well, actually, it was just this idea of a community having this collective conscience, and they act accordingly, and they act in a sort of subconscious way where they're not like 100% sure what everyone else is doing, but they still act in the same way. And I thought that was an interesting concept because this like the village phantom, the just the concept that has been like a negative idea about like small communities in Norway. It's something you hear about growing up, and if people act badly or react in a bad way or in a negative way, it might be referred to as the village phantom. But it can also be used for good. So I was thinking, okay, maybe you could take this concept and use it to drive out, negative forces such as, drug dealers or somebody who wants to harm the community. And that was the sort of the idea. And then I took the setting from where my mom grew up, which is just a small village or a small town next to where I grew up, just 10 minutes away. And it has this nice feel, this nice setting. So you walk through the town, and it's like these small like shops and like these like village characters. And it's just a nice, really nice setting, gives you a lot of inspiration for how to describe the people and describe the community. So yeah, that's why.
So it's obviously not the same, but there's a Scandinavian film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which
Yeah.
reminds me of this screenplay, right? Like the
Oh,
small
okay.
town,
Yeah.
the mystery, someone like a journalist kind of having to figure out this death, and you know what I mean? It's a different film, of course, but it's like it's the Western American or Canadian world of like the Scandinavian kind of small town, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That is attractive, but I get it. I completely get it because it's like it's its own ecosystem, isn't it? So, why it's so interesting and yeah, enjoyable, fun to write, really fun to write.
And then you're also kind of introducing to the American audiences this culture, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, yeah, I want to do that. There's just these really fun things about, if you walk through like the town where my mom grew up, the police office is above like a Chinese restaurant. And I think that is so hilarious to me. This is so typical. Because that sort of tells you a little bit about the standing. So things just sort of work on their own. So the police is never like very front and center. They're always in the background because it's not really necessary. Things just roll, like things just, they keep churning. Things are just go like by themselves. So there's no need for the police to be front and center. But then that's why you have the big data sort of to drive out the negative or drive out the things that, seem to be maybe threatening the community. So yeah, it's just yeah, it's I hopefully it's interesting to other audiences as well, not just the
Well,
Norwegian
it is.
or
Well,
Scandinavian audience. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It totally is because it's like we're discovering, but then again, it's like it's another kind of metaphor of like small town, like you said, the police are hidden, everybody's kind of going about their business,
Yeah.
everybody knows who each other is, but
Yeah.
then there's a murder, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so then that's like a whole different thing. And then someone coming from the outside, like a journalist coming from the outside,
Yeah.
it kind of, it's the fish out of water kind of concept, I guess,
It
right?
is. Yeah. 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 And then she has to make some decisions on the way as well, as she finds out more and more about this mystery, about this murder, and who did it. And yeah,
So
she
then
knows who
what's
did it. And yeah.
so we obviously it's about the kind of like the mystery, but also like the ending. We can't, as an audience, there's like red herrings, there's like different
Yeah.
kind of Yeah, so there that's the art of the writing, the screenplay, I guess, right?
Yeah, I've worked a lot on that, but I've received excellent feedback. I've received excellent feedback from you and from a few other festivals. It really helped me tighten up the script. So I think since I've received your feedback, I've made some minor changes, and I think it's tighter now. So it's like the pace is good now, and yeah, a few things that may would it wouldn't be plot holes, but it's like why would she say that, or maybe she would say it that way. Things like that have changed a little bit, so I think yeah, it's quite good now. It's good now.
Do you start with the ending and then go backwards because the ending is everything's got to match up to the what you reveal, I guess.
Um, yeah, so I have the general outline and then filling in the details. Sort of, it's as I write, I just become more acquainted, more familiar with the characters. So they kind of tell me what they do. I know sounds really odd, but when I write, it's like it's not me writing anymore. It's just the character because I know the character, and he's going to do that, she's going to do that, and that's how it sort of weaves itself into a quilt, I guess, or a pattern. Yeah.
So that's the process. So like, do you like writing this genre, like the mystery kind of genre?
I like it. I really do like it. But right now I do different things now. I'm writing like a comedy script, sort of in
Oh
the
wow, okay.
spirit of like Naked Gun, sort of from like the 2025 audience. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. And before that, I worked on an AI trailer for Trust Me. That was the previous one that I spoke to you about before.
Trust me.
And I
Yeah.
just published it on Instagram. So that was a major, major project. Took me so much time to do, but I was really happy with the result. So yeah. So I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
So you mentioned in the blog interview that the movie you watched the most times in your life was Naked Gun.
Yeah, Naked Gun, yeah. Probably at least once a month. Once a month. Yeah, yeah.
Did you watch the remake?
I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it at some point, but just haven't had time. But I will at one point, yeah. So, but I have to be in the right because the Naked Gun movies are too close to my heart, so I have to be able to sort of digest it in a way that I don't feel like it's like because they're so precious to me. It's hard to sort of
So
like yeah, yeah,
I just finished reading the a book about the origin story of Airplane. Obviously the
yeah,
same creators of
yeah,
Naked Gun,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
now these guys kind of created this kind of kind of new genre in a sense where
yeah.
they're like there's a joke, there's like three jokes, there's like jokes happening, and it's like really interesting about like I don't know if you are interested in reading it because they're talking about like how it's got to be one thing. Like there's got to be a joke happening all the time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it can't be too busy,
Yeah.
right?
They sort of cracked the code, and I don't even know what the code is yet because
Yeah.
I study the scenes, I study like the way they write, and for me it's still a mystery. And then there's a question like, you can't make a Naked Gun today. You have to make something that is funny in 2025, which is different than what
Yeah.
was funny, the late 80s, 90s. So yeah, it's going to be my biggest challenge, and I'm
Well,
sure I'm not. It's going to be
if you
yeah,
think about
it's
it,
going to
nobody's
be.
really cracked it because
Yep,
the
that's
box
right.
office or like even on streaming is that the comedy movie is has was peaked in its 2005
Mm.
2006
Yep,
with like Wedding Crashers, Anchorman, and then
yep,
all of a sudden it just like has declined every
yeah,
year
yeah. But I
and
think
because
it is
people.
the by far the most difficult genre to write as well. So because like to come up with jokes. It is really hard. I recognize things that are funny. I recognize it all the time. But then you have to write something that is unique for you, and you have to write a unique original story with unique and original characters and jokes. So yeah, yeah, it's very hard, but it's it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's called Evil Coconuts, and that's the name
Yeah,
of the
Evil
script. So
Coconuts. Okay.
Evil Coconuts, yeah, yeah.
So then, okay, then there's also like if you look at like I because I've just studied airplane or even Naked Gun, where
Yeah.
like there's certain jokes that like if you watch Airplane where like Kareem Abdul or the kid's being like the obviously the pilot's like a little bit of a pedophile, right?
Yeah, he is, isn't
And
he?
it's funny, like, but it's like you can't really say people are so sensitive these days.
Yeah, yeah, you couldn't make that joke, and that's fine. I mean, that I don't feel like that would be necessary to make it like that. But you still have to be, it has to be sharp, you know, it has to be sharp and witty, and a lot of people are able to do it. You can see how many successful comedians are on YouTube, on Instagram. There's
Yeah,
just so many funny people on Instagram these days, and they really crack me up. So it's not like there's no humor today, but it's
yeah,
difficult to integrate it into that film format, I think, because people are used to shorts and
yeah,
skits and things like that. So that's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the
Because Kristen
challenge.
Wiig was saying that like because she did Bridesmaids, which was a huge
Yeah,
hit, right? That's like the
yeah,
peak. That was the end of the peak. Where and then she was saying that like she worked 2 years on that film, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like really hard. Like she worked like, 60 hours a week for 2 years
yeah,
on that
yeah.
film. And then it's like, but now they can make money on Instagram, everybody, or their podcasts, the comedians, right? So
Yeah.
why spend 2 years on a film that may or may not be a hit when they could just make their money on Instagram, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, they and I get depressed when people say it, but it's like film is a dying genre because you know you compete with the screen. So the mobile phone, people are always on their phone, so you're always going to be competing with the mobile phone when you're making a movie, because guaranteed somebody, they're going to watch they're going to watch their phones at the same time they're watching a film. So you really have to grab people's attention, so you have to write with them in with that in mind, that you are competing with the people's phones, so it better be good, you know.
Yeah.
It's better be really attention grabbing, really interesting, really attention grabbing, and yeah.
So what you're good at is that, well, it's won awards with us with this script, and is that it's structure. You're really good at structure and emotional connection. So
Oh
meaning
well,
that
thank you.
like if you look at, I'm going to go back to it. If you look at Airplane,
Yeah,
the reason why the movie works is because there's a love story that happens between the two characters. And
yeah,
if there
yeah.
isn't that love story, then we don't really care as much
No,
about
you're
the
right.
story, and therefore
Yeah,
we're not going to laugh as much, right?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
the same thing with the mystery film where like it's a whodunit. We love it, right? People love obviously watching these films or even the
Mm,
podcasts or whatever, like the crime mystery, but we
yeah,
have to emotionally invest in the character.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. You have to make a likable, not just likable, lovable character. Yeah. So much so that people are more interested in that character and how he is doing or she's doing than what's going on Instagram and TikTok. So
No, no,
yeah,
exactly, right? And
yeah,
like or like basically they're it's the whodunit, but then there's that extra element where like and you kind of want the person to like win. Meaning winning is that like kind of solving the crime, I guess, right?
hmm, yeah, yeah.
Right?
But for her, she solves the crime, but she cannot prove it, and she at that point she doesn't want to prove it either because she makes this connection with sort of the protector of the community, the protector of the children and the, you know, the outsiders that hang out in the skate park, and
Yeah.
the one who's trying so desperately to protect the children and the teenagers from getting involved with drugs. And so she becomes part of the village phantom as well. So, which is sort of what happens at the end. So she transforms and becomes a part of the village phantom, which I thought, I always knew that was going to happen to the journalist. I always knew that she was going to become a part of it. So yeah,
Yeah. So it's
yep.
bittersweet.
It is bittersweet, but yeah, it's bittersweet. But she was never like a big. She was not like a hero of the story.
Yeah.
She never was. I never intended her to be that kind of. She's very very flawed, and She's also selfish because, well, I shouldn't. Well, I mean, spoiler, but she commits a murder. So, you know, she's not a. A lot of people would say she's a um she's a very flawed person. Um,
Human.
yeah. So,
Which,
but she's vengeful, she commits a murder because she wants to avenge her brother, who almost died from an overdose. So, uh, and
yeah,
once she find out who supplied the drugs, she goes out and does that. So opportunistic.
yeah. And
Yep.
people seem to like that these days, the revenge,
Oh,
like like
yeah,
taking the law by the hands and just kind of in seeking revenge, or basically seeking the law. They know what's right, so they do it themselves, right?
exactly. Yeah. So you can't just have revenge for the sake of revenge. It has to be in line with the character, of course. But for her, it absolutely is. She has a very valid reasons. That was one of the things they said, oh, will people sympathize? It was not a criticism, but a question I received from one of the
Yeah.
festivals. So will people sympathize? And maybe it's just me, but I definitely sympathize with her actions. I may not think they are the right thing to do, but I definitely sympathize and understand why she's doing it. So
I've always
yeah.
felt that we like characters who are brave and basically fight their fears and basically do what's best for them. Like even like if you look at TV the last 20 years, we
Mm,
like Tony Soprano because he fights his conflicts. He faces his
hmm.
fears and faces his conflicts.
Yeah,
Deeply
yeah, yeah,
flawed and maybe a
yeah.
sociopath, but he still kind of goes after things, right?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And for I use so the skating and the skating like the skate park as sort of a like an allegory for that. Sort of you take chances. You have to sort of you have to dive down and like really just dare to do it if you're going to become a good skater. So, and yeah, so that's why I used the skate park, and I thought it was quite fitting. And they incidentally just built a really nice skate park in
Yeah.
the town where my mom grew up. So there are a lot of like
Yeah.
kids and teenagers actually use it. So yeah.
Does everybody skate in Norway?
Yeah, because snowboarding is big. And so they skate in the summer, they snowboard in the winter. So yeah, it's probably not like California big, but it is big, yeah. Yeah. A lot of people do it. And they have
Yeah.
skate parks everywhere. Small skate parks and like in small places and then the one that I write about is really nice. The one in my town is really nice. So yeah.
What's the number one sport in Norway?
Football. Yeah,
Soccer?
it's
Like
always
sorry, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
still yeah, yeah.
European football. Yeah, always. And then after that is probably
Hockey?
cross country skiing. Cross country skiing
Okay.
is big. Yeah, because it's just like it's like a leisure sport as well, so people do it leisurely.
Yeah.
So those two, yeah.
You win all the medals in or a lot of the medals in the Olympics for cross country skiing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, always the Olympics. Norway tend to be number one. Yeah, we put so much money into it, just so much money, and then it's just the way it goes. Like if you give you give a 5-year-old skis and say, hey, just now we're gonna go skiing, and you do that every day, the whole winter season, and you tend to get good at it. So yeah they have a big pool of young people to choose from when
Yeah.
you get to the elite level. So yeah,
Yeah, the winter sports are always like from an economic standpoint, you kind of have to have means like hockey, skiing, right?
yeah, and it's always a big criticism that like oh to become a good cross country skier or hockey or anything like that, you need a lot of money. And you're right, it is an issue. It's like a class issue. It becomes a class issue. But there are ways around it. I always you know, um, used skis, so I never got new ski equipment or anything like
Yeah.
that. Even though my parents could afford it, they still said, "Oh no, we're not going to buy new ski equipment. We're going to use the old one. We're going to get from the neighbors or something like that." So yeah,
But the lift pass, right? The like the
it's expensive, isn't it? Yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. You can buy like an annual pass, and it's cheaper. Yeah, but yeah, it's expensive. It is.
yeah. No, it is interesting though. So like it's and then like yeah, and then but skateboarding they can just do it. They can just all they need is a skateboard and they can, it doesn't cost much money and they can just go, yeah.
Exactly. So, obviously like that, it is accessible to everyone, to mo well, yeah, almost everyone. And yeah, as long as you have a place to skate, everyone's happy. Yeah, everyone's happy.
Yeah, there is a mystery even now, like to this day, there's a mystery with the Scandinavian countries, right? Because you want to, like, I lumped it in together at the beginning, where I'm like, I lumped Sweden and Norway together in a
Yeah,
film
yeah,
culture.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's every country, but your country is its own me person. Like your Finland and is so different from Norway, it's so different from Sweden, so different
yeah.
from Denmark, right? So
Yeah, yeah, they are very different. You can find a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences. Very unique identities. If you look at the Norwegian identity and the Swedish identity.
yeah,
So people would say you speak to a Norwegian person, a Swedish person, and talk about their identity, you will get very different answers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, how many, did everybody speak English? Most people speak English now?
Yeah, they do. Everyone speaks English, unfortunately, and that is almost a problem now because, like, if you go on Instagram and you look at like Norwegian Instagrammers,
Yeah,
their post, even in Norwegian, is half English, half Norwegian. So they're kind of losing the language, and that's a real issue these days. So
but
I always feel a little bit conflicted because I write in English, and no, a lot of people say, "Oh, you should write in Norwegian instead." And I'm thinking, but then the culture and everything wouldn't be so accessible because I really would like to tell the story to everyone, not
yeah.
just to Scandinavia. So yeah.
No, languages are dying, right? Like they're like it's like
Yeah.
Mandarin and English are like taking over the world, right? So
Yeah, yeah, it is. So, I wish people could sort of more appreciate, and also like learn more languages. You speak one language, learn another. I say this as a language teacher, so I kind of
okay,
have to
got
say.
you. Yeah.
So I really enjoy when people come to me and say, "Oh, well, I'm from Malaysia, but I really like to study in Norway. I'd like to learn Norwegian." And I was like, "Great, that's great, that's fantastic." So,
I wish you the ultimate best of success. Congratulations on the script and
well, thank you so
great
much.
luck with the comedy. We need a film like that. We need more of those type of like humorous kind of like let's not take ourselves too seriously movie.
Exactly. Just like belly laugh,
Yeah,
that's what I want. Yeah,
because
that's
those
what I'm
movies
trying.
still hold up today. Like the Naked Gun, the original Naked Gun, the airplane movies, the Mel Brooks movies of the 70s,
Oh,
they all kind of they still hold up.
they still hold up. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, so, we need to get back to that.
Because the comedy is not present. It's just funny, right? Like it's not about
Hmm.
like what's happening in our society now. There's a timeless laughter to it, right? So
It is, it is. Comedy is timeless. And so, we need to sort of get back to that. But it's tricky, but it's a challenge. I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
well, good luck with it. I love to see it.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, let's
Thank you
talk
very
again
much.
soon and uh
All right
and
then.
thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.